I love learning languages for learning's sake. And if you're watching my channel, chances are that you do too. Hi, I'm Nick and I am PinoyPolyglot. Today I wanted to discuss the topic of language guilt. Now, language guilt has been talked about by a few different language content creators, but I wanted to define language guilt as the guilt associated with not being able to take a language that you're learning into a very high fluency or native-like proficiency. In my case, I've been studying languages for almost 26 years. And in that time, I've dabbled in about 10 to 11, maybe 12 different languages. And there's no way I can claim fluency in all of those. That would be the dream. So I'm a native speaker of English and Filipino, Tagalog. Highly functional in Mandarin and Japanese, and conversational in Spanish and Korean. And by conversational, I mean I can get around a Spanish-speaking country or South Korea and just be able to do anything that relates to travel, like ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, that kind of thing. So let's talk about my experiences in learning Korean. I started learning Korean after I got to an intermediate level in Japanese and Mandarin. And for me, it was a logical choice, not only because of the linguistic proximity, and by that I mean it has a similar word order, a grammatical structure to Japanese, and it shared some borrowed vocabulary with Mandarin and Japanese. So, linguistically, I wasn't really starting at zero with Korean. And at the time, that was the early 2000s, so that was when K-pop started to become popular, and the Korean wave was just starting. So that was before it became mainstream. So I remember just being kind of not really obsessed, just liking the whole vibe. And so Korean was the logical choice for me. But I never had a time to actually fully devote myself to learning Korean because I was still focused on taking my Japanese and Mandarin to a highly proficient level. I was focused on passing the JLPT and HSK, and I did live in Japan and China, and worked there as an English teacher. So obviously my priority was not in Korean. And fast forward to today, in the last 15 or so years, I haven't really done any serious Korean language study. There have been bursts here and there, but obviously no intensive study because I took on a career path that didn't have anything to do with language learning or teaching. And so my focus was simply maintaining my Japanese and Mandarin and also doing things to further my career. Last year, I was fortunate enough to travel to Seoul. It was my third time there, and before going, I did some brush-up study on Korean. Just some listening exercises here and there, just to get my ears used to the language. Didn't really learn anything new, but it did wake up the dormant Korean that was in my brain, and that was enough. Like, I had no intention of staying in Korea long term, so there wasn't really any point in intensive study. I already knew how to function as a tourist in Korea. So there's no guilt in not being able to speak Korean fluently, even if I started learning it more than 20 years ago. And if you're still watching this video, I would say that some of you are still feeling guilty in not being able to speak a certain language fluently or as good as you want it to be. And I'm just here to say that there's no reason to feel guilty. Life gets in the way, and there's always now. There's always a chance now to pick it up. And if you don't have the time, then that's fine. Focus on what you need to do, and don't let that guilt stop you from picking up a new language or from restarting and picking up where you left off with that old language. So, what factors do you consider in deciding to stop or to continue learning a language?
톡 있어요? 안 달콤한?
안 다는 거?
네.
안 다는 거 좋아하셔?
네. 있어요?